Hey folks, welcome to Moonshift Audio. My name's Jack, I'm a mix engineer and producer based in Bristol, UK. I put out a new video every week, so please do like and subscribe. Last week I showed you how to make a track in the style of I Like the Way You Kiss Me by Artemas, and this week I'm going to show you how I use some neat AI tools to produce the vocals. Here's a preview. If you need a mix engineer or a producer for one of your tracks, you can get in touch with me at moonshiftaudio.com. But for now, let's take a look at this vocal production. All right, so here we are, and we're back in the session. Last week we looked at the backing track, so this week we're going to look at the vocals. And here is how they come in. I like it when you pull me close. Whoa. The world fades out and we're alone. Whoa. Now, I sung this vocal. I don't do a lot of singing anymore, but I think I just about got away with it in terms of something that's usable for this tutorial. And the initial vocal is fairly straightforward. I'll play it raw. I recorded this on a U87 and I drove it quite hard through a Neve preamp. The world fades out and we're alone. Whoa, whoa. So it's actually a little bit edgy before we start. I've also tuned that quite hard ahead of this video, so you guys don't have to deal with my slightly out of tune vocal stylings. And because the track's quite raw, it's quite rough around the edges, I've been pretty heavy-handed with the processing on this. So the first thing I've done is slammed it pretty hard. We're getting 18 dBs. Close. Whoa. Of gain reduction on this Avox. The world fades out and we're alone. Whoa. I like and I quite like that slightly overcompressed sound for a track like this. The world fades out. Now we get into thinning it out, so all the subs are gone. That low end, low mids scooped out, and I put a high boost on, a high shelf there, about 3K, just to add that kind of sizzly top end. Whoa, I like it when you pull me. Now these vocals are quite dirty, and so decapitator, haven't played around, this is the stock setting, just really driving it quite hard. Me close, whoa. The world fades out and we're alone. And then following that, just because you can find that distortion, you sort of reintroduce a bit of low end information. Close. Whoa. The world fades I've just pulled out even more of the lows and put a presence boost in at 2K. I like it when you pull me close. That is quite a thin sounding vocal now. But when we bring in the track, because the track is very busy, it's very bassy. There's a huge, great 4-layer bass line that I showed you in last week's video. Whoa. The world fades out and we're alone. Whoa. I like it when you pull me close. Whoa. The world. And that still, to me, sounds a little bit thin. But when we start to bring in the send effects, you'll see that it starts to come together. So first of all, we've got a delay. And that's just sending to an echo boy. Obviously the mix is on full. It's on an 8th. There's a little bit of feedback there and it's fully open. So there's no low cut and no high cut there. I like it when you pull me close. But it just adds a little bit of depth. It's almost like a kind of slapback, really. And we've also got a vocal reverb. And I'm doing quite a lot here. If we look at this reverb, you can see I've got several plugins in the chain. This is what it sounds like. The world fades out and we're alone. Whoa. So first off, I'm just pulling out the lows. Now, in most of the mixes that I do, I'll always pull out the lows and the highs from a reverb, but I've noticed that in Artemas's productions, a lot of the time you've got this really present, gritty, kind of imperfect sounding reverb that takes up a huge amount of space behind the vocal, and so I've left the highs in. And the reverb that I'm using is this deep vocal space preset from Vintage Verb. When you pull me close, whoa. And I'm actually processing that further with a compressor, working really hard, which just sort of thickens up the reverb itself. And I'm following that up with a saturation plugin. So in a busy mix like this, it's very, very full, all very aggressive, a lot of kind of mid-range energy, to still have a big reverb cut through and sound very full behind the vocal isn't easy. And it's a rare situation where I think a little bit of saturation on the reverb return is quite a nice trick. So we'll hear this without. I like it when you pull me close, whoa. I like it when you pull me close, whoa. So that reverb starts to become gritty, metallic, and present. And if we listen to that in the context of the track, I like it when you pull me close, whoa. I like it when you pull me close, whoa. And I bypass the saturation. I like it when you pull me close, whoa. I like it when you pull me close, whoa. I think that makes a world of difference. And in a pretty grimy production like this, you can totally get away with it. So I'm just going to jump forward a little bit. This vocal comes back later in the track. It's exactly the same vocal, processed exactly the same way, but I've just split it onto a different track, so I've got easy independent volume control of the vocal in these two sections without having to use automation. But next up, we've got the sort of male to female vocal. In a lot of tracks, Artemas uses kind of pitch shifting and I think some formant shifting to get this kind of like slightly unreal, slightly weird, but really nice female kind of tone going on. And the way that I reckon that is done is by singing probably like 4 or 5 or 6 semitones below the pitch that they want to end up with, and then pitching the vocal up and formanting it down again. Now I tried that and my range, I've got quite a deep voice and my range just wasn't working. So I started to play around with some other ways of doing this, and I decided to have a go at using an AI voice changing software. And the app that I ended up using was Audient. I think I've seen this advertised on Instagram or somewhere like that. And basically, it's pretty straightforward. As the free version, you get a few different vocalists to choose from. You load in your raw audio. There's a few settings to play with. And it spits out basically what you sung, but with a different voice. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting much from it, but I'm quite impressed, actually. So we come back into Cubase. This is what I fed into Audient, and I kept on the compressor and the tuning and the EQ. There's actually a bit of a pitch tuning glitch in this. Could be with me on you and you on me, but that will never come to be. Oh no, no. And this is what it gave me back. Want to see how things could be with me on you and you on me, but that will never come to be. Oh no, no. That's not perfect, but because it's such a grimy track, and I knew I was going to throw a lot of distortion and reverb, I'm using the same two sends, a reverb and a delay, slamming it through a decapitator, much like the other vocal, and then some EQ here. I think it works pretty well. Want to see how things could be with me on you and you on me, but that will never come to be. Oh no, no. Want to see how things could be with me on you and you on me, but that will never come to be. Oh no, no. So I decided that I wanted some backing vocals to sort of replicate the call and response thing that Artemas does in I Like the Way You Kiss Me. So here's my initial attempt. and I don't know which way to go, the way to go, and I can't fight, and I can't fight the undertow, I'm drowning. So, I mean, it's okay. But I decided it'd be nice sort of an octave up, more to kind of echo the AI vocal that I had already, so I did a falsetto version. Brace yourselves. Which way to go? And I can fight the undertow, I'm drowning. Not great, really. So I used the AI voice changer again. I fed it this. And I don't know the way to go. And I got this back. And I don't know the way to go. This is without those effects. And I can't fight the undertow. And I don't know the way to go. The undertow, I'm drowning. And that is the sound that I ended up going with. We get back to another AI voice change vocal here, which I actually fed this same vocal from before. And there we're into that outro that I looked at in last week's video. So the thing that I found really the most interesting here was that I was able to use that AI vocal changer. It's a completely free tool. I think you get about 15 minutes worth of audio a month in the free tier. Admittedly, it only lets you download it as an MP3, which certainly isn't like professional quality, but for a scuzzed up kind of backing vocal like this, I think you can get away with it. And really, I mean, this isn't a pro level production. I certainly haven't spent the time and attention on it that I would a paid production, but just as a demonstration of how to replicate some of the sounds that Artemas uses and some of the possibilities for getting a radically different vocal tone when perhaps your vocal might not be as versatile as someone like Artemas's is, I think there's a lot of potential there. That's it for this week. Please do like and subscribe for more tips, tricks, resources and downloads from me at Moonshift Audio. Till next time.